Hey guys, got in a new Reflex style sight from CVLIFE. This one's called the FoxSpook and it's coming in under $40. So I figured we'd do a quick unboxing of it. We'll go over all of its features and specifications. We'll get it mounted to something, take it to the range, and see if it's worth that $40. I've actually had a couple of these that are very similar in the past, but this one does have a pretty unique feature that I've not had on any other red dots so far. But this is the box that comes in. I do like their branding and stuff on there now instead of just like a plain black box. And this does come from Amazon. So let's get this thing cut open here. All right, let's see everything that comes in it. So we have a manual here up on top, and I believe this is the style I have. They have both of them, and they're both called FoxSpook. Just quickly showing you through the manual. And this is what's pretty unique about this one. We'll go over that in a bit. Alrighty. Got a lens cleaning cloth, couple of tools. Those are actually battery compartment covers in case you lose what's with it. So obviously it has a USB charging cable that is type C, so USB A to C. And then we have the dot itself. I'll just give you guys some close-ups of it as I'm kind of looking over the finish and anodization. So it's clearly a Picatinny mount. And there we can see our USB charging port. So yeah, this does not take any type of external batteries. It's only internal batteries, and you will charge it. And we'll see if there's like charge indicators and stuff like that here in a bit. It'd be nice if it has like a battery level indicator, but I don't think it does. Here are some of the quick specifications. It's just a one-time magnification. I believe that means that there's 8 brightness levels. There's 4 different reticles. It's 1,000 Gs for the shockproof rating. It looks like the battery has 240 hours of standby time, unlimited eye relief. It's IPX5 waterproof rated. Each of our values for windage and elevation is going to be 1 click is 1 MOA. And again, I mentioned it's a Picatinny mount. And I mentioned that both of these are called the FoxSpook. I do think that the lens on this one is a little bit bigger. And then obviously this shroud kind of protects that lens a little bit more. But essentially they're the same type of sight. Just kind of quickly showing you guys around the sight itself. It does have a fully multi-coated lens. It allows for more light transmission, supposed to make things clearer. You have your up and down for the intensity of the dot, for the brightness of the dot. We have windage elevation here on the side, elevation adjustment up there. This will have, again, 4 different reticles, and I'll show you guys those once we turn it on. But this over here is kind of like, they call it the starburst pattern, but it's kind of like a combination of everything. And then there's going to be crosshairs, there's going to be a circle dot, and then just a dot. And that is kind of stiff right now, moving that through, but again, first time getting it, so it might loosen up here in a bit. It does have a rear sight notch kind of channel right there. I don't know if that will allow any type of co-witness, but we'll see if it will work on my rifle or not. And then over here we have our USB type C port, and let's see how hard that is to pull out and if it's captive. So that is not captive. Like there's not like a little string or anything that like holds on to it. So I can definitely see how this can be lost pretty easily. And then that is just a charging indicator. I think it's red when it's charging and it's green when it's fully charged. But that is not a battery level indicator. It doesn't tell you when your battery is getting low or anything like that. The lens on this is 28 millimeters by 40 millimeters, and some unofficial lengths and stuff. It's just over 3.5 inches long. Again, that is just over 1.5 inches wide, and the total height is just over 2 inches. Grab you guys a weight here. Getting 4.9 ounces. So CVLIFE does recommend fully charging this up when you receive it. I'm just going to turn it on and see if it does have at least power to get through this part. So you can hit either button here to turn this on. Let's get the camera to adjust here. All right, that looks a little bit better. So that is our crosshairs. That's actually very, very clear. I'm going to move this so we can see what that really looks like on the table there. Yeah, very clear. Let's go through the different ones here, and then we'll go through the different brightness settings. So that is the circle dot. I have to say it's got to be one of the brighter settings. That thing is super bright already, but we'll see. And it does have like brightness memory. Whatever you shut it off on, like let's just say we're on level 8. The next time you turn it on, it will be on level 8. That one right there, they're calling it the starburst. Again, it's kind of like a combination of everything. Let's go back to the crosshairs, and then let's go up, and we'll see if it does get any brighter. Yeah, I think that was about the brightest. So let's just say we're on 8 there. Now we'll come back down through them. So it would be 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it should not get any lower. So, and then let's look at some of the other ones on that low setting. Again, circle dot. I actually like the circle dot on a lot of things. There's just your dot if you want that. So one of the first things I'll say here is that it's obviously not noticeable with the circle dot or just the dot, but when you're on the crosshairs and the starburst, there is a slight tilt to that reticle. I don't know if you can tell, but like the vertical line, the left side is or the top side is a little more to the left, and the bottom is a little more to the right. So just the slightest tilt to it. Nothing horrible, but it is there. And then another thing I'm noticing is, I'm sure because of that coating on the lens, but there is a definite blue tint to that. You can kind of see how that white goes to almost a full blue. So if you have the dot on and you want to turn it off, you do have to press both buttons for 3 seconds together. That wasn't even 3 seconds, to be honest with you. I barely just touched them. Manual says 3 seconds, but I think if you just hit both buttons together and it turns it off. This does not have like a shake awake or auto awake type feature to it, but it will shut down after 2 hours of non-use. It just will not wake back up when you pick up your rifle or whatever. So you will have to manually turn that back on. This is parallax adjusted, and it has unlimited eye relief. So really you can place this almost anywhere that you want. You know, if you want to go there with it, it's fine. If you want to go back some notches, wherever you want to place it on your rail, really. I placed mine here. It's still on the back half of the receiver. I'm not really out here on the handguard area, and it still gives me room that I can get back here and flip between those different reticles. Still allows my front and rear sight to stay on. I'm just kind of quickly working on getting this somewhat sighted in before I go to the range. So I got my rear and front sight up, and I'm just kind of lining the dot up with my sights. And I'll let you guys listen to the windage and elevation adjustments. So pretty positive. You can feel every click. You can hear every click. All right, guys, out at the range this morning, testing out that CVLIFE Reflex style red dot. I'm set up at 50 yards. 50 yards is about as far as my eyes can go with the red dot. Again, this is not magnified at all. But I figure we'll probably put, I don't know, somewhere close to 100 rounds through it and make sure there aren't any problems with the dot actually shutting off or flickering. See how the glass and the entire sight holds up to that many shots. My rear sights kind of prevent me from getting my phone down there low enough, but hopefully this gives you guys an idea of what I'm seeing here. And I was hoping for a nice sunny day to see how bright this dot is, but it's just full cloud cover today, and it's like 20 some degrees, and we're almost in April. Here's that front sight co-witness. It'll actually co-witness with the rear sight too. It's just when I pop it up, it makes it really hard to see through everything, but it does in fact co-witness with everything. All right, guys, so I've had a chance to use this sight and just want to share some of my thoughts with you now. So I'm going to start with a few negatives. First thing is, this does not have like shake awake or auto on technology. So right away, I probably would not recommend this for any type of home defense situation. You do have to pick up the rifle, you do have to hit the buttons to turn the thing on. Second negative for me is this little charging port cover. Again, it's a Type C, which is great. However, I almost lost this the very first time I charged this thing up. I set up on top of a dresser and then couldn't find it. And I know they give a couple extras, so you're probably going to use them. But I almost wish this was like captive, that there was like a little rubber piece that was on here that also attached there. So when you pulled it out, it just stayed hanging there. Another con, and it didn't really affect me. However, their description and the manual both say that this thing charges in 30 minutes. I have no idea how much charge this was shipped to me. It could have been 1%, it could have been 99%. All I know is that it worked right out of the box. So I know there was charge to it. And when I went to charge it up before I took it to the range, it took over 2 hours to charge this up. So definitely way longer than the advertised 30 minutes. Again, it wasn't a big deal to me. I was charging the day before I was going to the range, but I went in the room periodically, and yeah, it did take over 2 hours. And while I was charging, it made me realize another problem kind of is that you kind of do leave your rifle unattended while this is charging. I just had it again in our bedroom. We don't have any small kids or anything like that. So again, not a big deal for me, but I can see how that would possibly be an issue for some people. I just had this laying or sitting on the floor, and then I had the USB-C cable just run into the wall, plugged into here. Now you could remove this from your rifle to charge, but then you may have the chance of losing zero every time you do that. So I'd probably recommend when you're charging, no magazine in it, no rounds in the chamber, nothing like that. Make sure it's safe. And my final complaint is I do wish that it came with some type of little like cover of some sort. Let's say you put this on your rifle and then you do want to put it in your safe. Well, this glass is going to be exposed to any other rifles or anything else in there that might be bumping into it. And this is not a true holographic type sight. If your glass gets damaged, the sight is pretty much ruined. I know I said that was going to be the last con, but there's one more, and it's that the crosshairs reticle is slightly tilted. All right, let's talk about some of the positives. I think the thing is actually really well built. It has very clear glass. There's no type of fisheye effect or any type of distortion. I like that it has the 4 different reticles. I personally prefer the circle dot. I like those even on my pistol red dots. Those reticles and that dot do get very bright. I know the morning that I was at the range when I was trying to demonstrate it to you guys, it was super cloudy and gloomy that day. But off camera, I've tested it on other days and easy to find even in bright sunlight. I actually like that this is rechargeable. One, it's very convenient. It's definitely going to save money because most of these style use like the LR44, I think they are, and they usually take like 3 of them. I do wish that it had some type of battery level indicator, just like a green when you're good and a red when it's getting low or something like that. That way you would know when to charge it. I know they say it's supposed to last 240 hours. I don't know if it really does or not, but if it did, and let's just say you went to the range for 3 hours, well, that's going to be what, 80 range trips? I mean, so that should last for years, but I probably would not trust it. I would probably get in the habit of just charging the thing up every, maybe 4 or 5 months or so. I like that it has that auto off feature. Just wish it had auto on. The windage and elevation adjustments were both audible and tactile. I like that about it. I like that it can co-witness with your front and rear sight. And at the range, I kind of said like it's hard to see. I meant for the camera, it was hard to see through the little hole back here and then to line it up from the front. But with your regular eyes, it lines up perfectly. It has a really nice large window, which gives you a nice field of view. You can acquire your target much faster, and your follow-up shots are really quick and accurate as well. So I already said I probably personally would not put this on my, home defense type weapon. I think this is probably good for something that you're out just plinking with, and especially if it's like a really budget build, you're trying to keep everything as cheap as possible. I think I might have showed this earlier in the video, but these are coming in basically under $40. And I've had this for about 3 weeks or so, and it's been right around the same price the whole time. So it's $44. And then there's a promo code for 12% off of that. So that's close to $5 off. So less than 40 bucks. And I will leave an Amazon link for it down in the video description if you guys want to find out more information. Maybe there's things I didn't go over, or if you want to pick one up, it'll be down there. So, all right, if you guys found this video helpful or informative in any way, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.